Hey APUSHers, with 61 days left before the APUSH exam, this is what I would do to make sure that I was prepared. I would make sure that I understand how to source the documents for the DBQ. So over the last few days, we've been going through all the rubric points and the components of the writing section of the APUSH exam. And today I want to focus on one of the points in the analysis and reasoning category, which is all about sourcing, which means talking about a document's historical situation, the intended audience of the document, the purpose of the document, or the point of view of the artist, author, creator. So let's say you're working with this document here. We've been talking about changes in foreign policy in the early 19th century. So let's say you're looking at this document and you want to describe the historical situation. In your essay, you've probably already introduced the document and maybe pointed out something from the document that helps support your argument, but now you want to source it. So let's say you're going to talk about historical situation. You can simply say document 4 can be set in the context of imperialism. Document 4 can be set in the context of the Spanish-American War in this period, and then you describe what's happening. So it's a really simple phrase that you can use to help you start to talk about that situation, that broader context, really explicitly. For intended audience, I often see students struggle to do this one really accurately. So what you want to do is pay attention to the sourcing information, and you can see that this is published by the Boston Globe, meaning its most direct audience is going to be Bostonians. Now, the reason I say I see students do this incorrectly a lot is because they are often going to say the intended audience of the cartoon is Americans. And that's just really general and doesn't provide you any additional information that is helpful for understanding the source. So instead, you really need to have some background information. So knowing that the Anti-Imperialist League was also founded in Boston could provide you with a really good way of sourcing the document. So the audience of the document is Bostonians, who many of whom were also anti-imperialist. And so it's likely this cartoon was trying to target this group of people. Okay, so the next sourcing tool is purpose. So the most common thing that we see when grading this is that students say the purpose of this document is to show, to demonstrate, to inform, to tell. These are really basic words and they're not wrong. They just aren't as good as it could be. And so I want to encourage you to think about stronger verbs like to criticize, to claim, to argue, to manipulate, to criticize. All of those are going to be much stronger ways that you are providing an additional analysis of the document. So the purpose of this cartoon was to persuade people in Boston that the current actions of the United States were wrong. Something along those lines is much stronger than to show the US attitude towards imperialism. So with the next one, point of view, you also want to be cautious on this one, similar to intended audience. If you don't actually know who the artist or creator is, you might make assumptions that are inaccurate. So for example, I've seen students interpret sources based on the gender of the author. So they say, because this person is a woman, they support women's rights. And so instead of actually reading and understanding the perspective, they are making an assumption based off of the gender. So you want to make sure that you avoid that and you only address how they feel about something or what they think about something if you actually know that to be true. So for instance, this one, when you're looking at this political cartoon and you have this background understanding that political cartoons were often used as satire or to criticize, you could make a good assumption that this person has the perspective that imperialism is wrong. And so that could be something that you address. However, you do want to make sure that you are cautious with point of view. I've seen this one done incorrectly the most frequently out of all of these analysis tool types. So today, March 10th, 2024, we are 61 days out from the APUSH exam. And today I want to make sure you understand how to source the documents.